Hello, my name is Josh Obrecht, and I am a GIS analyst with the ACPF National Hub. In this video, we'll go over how to run the Pit Fill Hole Punch tool. As mentioned in an earlier video, you will need to provide your own DEM, which should extend to the buffered watershed boundary, which is 1,000 meters beyond the actual watershed boundary or field boundary dataset. However, many times the LiDAR-derived DEMs have noise, meaning artifacts exist which show up as small false depressions. These depressions, or pits, need to be filled. This is where the Pit Fill Hole Punch tool smooths the DEM using a two-step process. The inputs are relatively simple. We need our DEM, and then we need to specify our maximum filled depth, which will be measured with the same vertical units as our DEM. First off, pits are going to be filled by identifying one cell sinks, and those are cells that are deeper than all of the surrounding cells but have no flow into them. The sink tool runs to find those one cell sinks and null them. Fill is then run on the original DEM subtracted from the filled. Any positive values represent the sinks, and then those cells are assigned the corresponding filled DEM values. Second, tool depressions are then hole punched. The first step is to subtract the unfilled DEM from the filled to return sink areas. These areas are identified as individual regions. If the sink is deeper than our maximum filled depth, that is considered a true depression. And for those regions, the deepest cell is nulled, which allows the water to flow out of it, and hence it has been hole punched. This tool goes through multiple iterations to catch sinks within the depressions. It'll go through as many iterations it needs until only true depressions remain. As you can see in our map, we have our watershed boundary in yellow on top of our DEM that has not been pit fill hole punched, ranging from low elevation dark colors to high elevation light colors. Let's go ahead and run the tool. With our catalog window open, we'll navigate over to our ACPF Pro Toolbox and expand the first set of tools, DEM preparation. We will double click the first tool, DEM Pit Fill Hole Punch. I want to take a moment to point out that each of these tools have a tool help with them. If we hover our mouse cursor over the blue question mark at the top of the tool window, a broad overview will display with how the tool works and its purposes. Then, as we hover on the individual inputs or outputs, another blue question mark will be displayed to the left of the input or output. And if we hover over those as well, we get a brief description about that input or output. Also, if they can have variable inputs, it will explain why that matters. Our only input for this tool is our DEM. Since the DEM is within our map, we can choose it from the drop-down in the Input DEM selection box. We will select our DEM, which is E1MP, and the HUC ID. The output DEM has been automatically populated and is named with the base name _P, which stands for pit filled. Our second required input is the maximum field depth, which will be in the same Z units as our DEM. We suggest choosing a maximum field depth that is comparable to the vertical accuracy of your DEM. This often ranges from 0.1 to 0.3 meters. The metadata associated with your DEM should have information about the vertical accuracy of the data. This DEM is in centimeters, and so we will enter a max field depth of 12 centimeters. Our output will be this pit filled hole punch DEM, and it is going to iterate through that pit fill hole punch process until any depressions that are less than this 12 centimeters depth have been filled. Once we are ready to run the tool, we will go down to the bottom and click Run. I just want to point out that this tool is going to take quite a while to run, so don't worry if it is taking a while. When it finishes, we're going to have our Pit Fill Hole Punch DEM. We may not see many differences, but I'm going to show you an example that shows you how much difference this process can actually make. There's another important window that we will be taking a look at, and that's our Details window. While a tool is running, we can click on View Details at the very bottom of the Geoprocessing panel to open up the Details window. While a tool is running, we will see a bar scrolling across the top of this window. It will open with the Messages tab. This shows everything that the tool is doing while it's running within the Python scripts for the tool. Messages are written once a certain point of the tool has been reached. This can be very helpful if an error is thrown or maybe a tool is taking a while to run. We can come to these messages and see what happened or where it's currently at to make sure everything is running properly. We could also click on the Parameters tab to verify the correct inputs were used. And we can see some basic environment settings within the Environments tab. This is a very valuable window to have and know about and can be used with all ACPF tools. Once the tool is finished, you will have a newly pit-filled hole punched DEM, which will be smoother than our original. In the current image from a different watershed, we can see that many artifacts have been removed in this process. This new DEM now better represents the actual surface and allows our surface to flow more correctly downstream while maintaining true depressions that are in the landscape. To recap the Pit Fill Hole Punch tool, you will need to provide your own DEM and decide on a max depth to fill. The tool has two inputs, DEM and the max depth, with the output being the pit filled hole punched DEM.